If you're putting in the work, you're doing the workouts, you're eating right, you're managing your stress, your hormones, you're taking your supplements, and you're still feeling exhausted or even just stuck, this might be the missing piece. And in midlife, it matters more than you might realize. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mandy Moves, Fit in the Chaos. I am Mandy. Thank you so much for tuning in. The missing piece that I'm talking about is sleep. Now, I have talked in previous videos about my 6 essential layers to midlife. I've talked about strength training. I've talked about movement. I've talked about nutrition, and now I'm talking about sleep. This is the layer that I personally struggle with the most. I struggle with it more than eating, even like on a GLP-1. I struggle with it probably just about as much as my hormones because my hormones affect it and it affects my hormones. What do I mean by all that? I will definitely get into it. Sleep is kind of the underlying layer to make everything in the rest of your life as successful as possible. As humans, as beings, as mammals, whatever it is, we can't not sleep. We can't not let our bodies rest. It is essential to life here on Earth. We haven't found a way around it yet. It impacts your hormones, it impacts your energy, it impacts your ability to build muscle, and it impacts your energy to lose fat. But it's often the one thing that we actually overlook a lot. Sleep has been something that has kind of eluded me my entire life. My parents were night owls, or still are, not as much as they used to. Actually, my dad is. My dad is still a night owl, and I tend to be that way as well. Luckily, right now I work from home and I homeschool my kids. We're not early risers. That's going to change here very, very quickly when my son heads to summer school, but it is what it is. And so I'm quickly trying to get my sleep right. I don't know about the rest of you ladies, but I was hit by hot flashes and worrisome nights very, very early in my 30s. We're talking like 33 years old. I was having hot flashes, and still to this day, I have them around my period no matter how much I do HRT. It just happens. And then I also struggle with either negative or nervous or anxious thoughts in the evening. So, like around my period, I don't know why, but I have had nights where I couldn't sleep because I was sure that I was going to be buried alive. There was no reason for someone to come after me. I mean, I have a fitness channel. Like, I don't know why someone would do that. It would literally be a random act of violence. But I was like, it's going to happen. And I would stay up for hours at night and I couldn't sleep. I know this sounds so incredibly silly, but it's true. This was literally just last month and I was having the hardest time sleeping. My husband could not convince me. Otherwise, I literally just had to let like exhaustion take me to sleep. If you are struggling with that or have struggled with either hot flashes or anxious thoughts at night, put it down in the comments below because I want to know that maybe I'm not alone. I can sit and ruminate for hours. I try not to, and I'm going to give you some methods that I use to not do it as much as possible. But there are some times where I fall short as well. And I will get into that in just a little bit. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but a bad night's sleep can set me off for like set me on the negative path for like a week or two. It takes me a long time to recover, even if I'm in a high hormone phase where I am supposedly feeling really good. If I am struggling with sleep, then it just kind of derails everything when it comes to that. As I've stated in earlier videos, I am a numbers person. So as you can see, I wear an Oura ring. I do check my sleep. I don't check it daily. I probably check it weekly just to kind of see how it's going. If I have a particularly bad night of sleep, I'll check and see how bad is it. It is a little psychosomatic when it comes to that because you're just kind of you're just psyching yourself out and it might seem worse than it actually is. There are times where coaches tell athletes don't look at your numbers before a big event because they don't want it to psych them out so that way if they have like not an optimal night of sleep, then it might psych them out for the next day of training or possibly even the event.
We do not let athletes use wearables leading up to a peak event because they feed into what the wearables are telling them. And it's not true data with regards to how their body can actually perform.
Sometimes those numbers are not good. I'm not training for any particular event. I'm just trying to track my sleep over the long haul right now. And so I just kind of keep it as like a guideline. I know there are some people that live and die by theirs. They try and get the readiness score up to 90 or something like that. If you are an Aura Ring user, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If not, it just means that you are ready for the next day, hence the readiness score. So, and sleep impacts literally every facet of your life. It impacts your cortisol, which means stress. So, if you're stressing about not sleeping, you're going to be even more stressed because you're not sleeping. It affects your hormones, so it will throw your hormones off, or possibly your hormones are causing your bad sleep because maybe you're having night sweats or something like that. And it can affect your insulin sensitivity. This is one that I'm quite familiar with. I am on a GLP-1 for my insulin sensitivity. They impact each other when it comes to me. My insulin numbers, for whatever reason, I don't know why, my insulin is really, really high. And it won't come down no matter what I do, no matter what diet I do. I happen to be off my GLP-1 for 1 week last week, 2 weeks ago, and my head broke out in crazy psoriasis, which is an autoimmune thing. And I had to go to the bathroom all night long that whole week. We're talking getting up to go to the bathroom 4 or 5 times a night, which is very common when it comes to um, insulin resistance. This whole time I've been saying insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, and um, prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. I'm not a particularly overweight person, yet I still have those markers, which is why I take the GLP-1. But it greatly impacted my sleep, and it was a very, very rough week. And it took me a couple of weeks to recover from that. Pushing through when you're really, really tired might work in your 20s, but at this time of our life in midlife, it just doesn't work. I really wish that it did because I was one of those people before that if things were not going my way or if I didn't have a really good night's sleep, I could always kind of bounce back and just push through. And I actually took pride in that. I would just, you just push it. If you're tired, just keep going. Your body will eventually wake up, or it will become stronger because you have pushed through. Well, that's not true, at least not in this time of our lives. I am a living testament to it because every single time I try and push through, I end up getting hurt. I currently have a strained hamstring because I was running with my team, running bases for my team to practice. And it honestly should not take me this long to recover. I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks. It wasn't particularly a bad strain, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. Um, and even when I'm lifting right now, it is still hurting. I haven't been able to do what I want to do. I'm having to do like body weight on my lower body right now, and it's quite frustrating. So you've waited all this time to figure out what actually helps. Well, I'm going to tell you what I do and then what ChatGPT says that you should do to help improve your sleep. Now, I take a ton of supplements. I take progesterone at night. I take L-theanine. I take ashwagandha. I take magnesium. I take an omega-3. And depending on the day, I will take a melatonin. Now, melatonin knocks me out, and then I don't wake up really well the next morning. So melatonin I take very, very sparingly, maybe once a week if I'm really, really struggling, because it affects me so much. So I'm really having to kind of play with that a little bit. Having a consistent bedtime, this one is a real struggle for me because my life is not consistent at all. I have teenagers that stay up not at all hours of the night. Yes, they do have particular times that they are supposed to be going to bed. I have guidelines, but I'm not super strict on it. I may be next year while my son is going to school. But for my daughter who is not, like, she puts herself to bed when she has somewhere to go, but she also is a night owl as well, and she actually works really well at night. So I try not to take that away from her. Life will switch her sleep schedule when later on in life, but right now I'm not huge on switching that for her. Limiting screens, I do try and do that as much as possible. So right now, I'm actually, since I'm sitting next to my bed, I've got my stack of books over here. This is the one that I'm currently reading right now by the author Whitney Amazine. I like her. She's kind of like pseudo Christian author. Actually, this book um, talks more about Christianity in it than her last book, The Summer of Dandelions. Both were really good books. I also absolutely love, love, love Emma St. Clair. And so I'm reading her stuff right now. So reading in bed is very, very big for me. I do keep a journal um, with me. The little 5 minute journal that you guys maybe have seen me use in bed before. Almost never use it. Haven't used it in over a month. I can tell you that. Um, I think it's a gratitude journal. See, it's been so long since I've used it. I don't even remember what it is. So, but I've got two journals next to my bed. I'll actually show you. That's my nightstand. It's really messy. But I've got just like a plain journal that if I'm having racing thoughts like I was last month, I can just kind of write things down. Didn't that night, didn't think of it, but I totally could have. Or I can use my gratitude journal if I'm feeling particularly feisty that day. I also use a sleep mask. I don't know about you guys, but I have thin eyelids, and I had actually never even really heard of this until I think I heard Shalene Johnson talk about using a sleep mask. But I have, um, this is silly to admit, but it's really true. I'm scared of the dark. I don't like the dark. I need to have light on in my room. My husband is very good about dealing with it. He's one of those people, I've actually timed him, guys. He can fall asleep in 35 seconds, like legitimately snoring and asleep in 35 seconds. I've timed him while he was taking a nap on the couch. It's quite frustrating. I mean, like, I want to smack him frustrating, but I love him very much. Anyways, so all that being said, like, since I'm scared of the dark, he can sleep anywhere, anytime, anything. It's it's weird. But I use a sleep mask because I do have like the TV on in the background, even though like I'll sit and read in bed. I'll have the TV on in the background. I'm not really watching it. I put my sleep mask on and I fall asleep that way. I know that sounds weird. It's totally counterintuitive. As of right now, it's the only thing that works for me right now because I can't fall asleep without the TV on because then I'm wondering what's in the dark and I don't like that. I don't know if you guys can see it like right there, those things right there. Those are actually two battery operated candles that we have on every night. Not very, you would think that we can see enough of that. No, I have to have the TV on too. It's just, it is what it is. Studies show that you should not have a TV in your bedroom. And for anyone that actually follows through with that, I really, really commend you. And I wish I was more like you. I'm just not. And so I'm doing what is working for me right now. Morning sunlight. This is another one that is really hard for me to do. I'm also a slow waker, but within like 20, 30 minutes, you're supposed to go outside and get morning sun and get like some protein in you as a woman. This is really difficult for me. I just move so slow in the morning. I do have like a big window here that you'll usually see, like, it's usually natural light on me when I'm filming videos. I am I try and let that in. I try and actually go outside, pet a chicken, pet the dog. That does not happen 29 days out of the month, just being honest. That is something that is better to do in the morning. It's totally something that I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. I'm just being 100% transparent. But if you are someone that can get outside in the morning, please do. Like I said, it's going to change when I have to take my son to summer school, which I'm kind of happy about just because I'm going to have to do it. I haven't had to do anything. I usually start work around 8 or 9. um, but now I'm going to have to get up to Laverne, which is like 20 minutes away. Reducing caffeine. I'm not someone who drinks caffeine late in the day. That's just not me. I don't like to. Unless I have something that I am staying up late for. So, if my husband and I are working a wedding or some sort of party where we're going to be up a little bit later, yes, I might have some caffeine. It's usually half caff later in the day. But generally, I don't like to use caffeine after noon. I drink my coffee really slow anyways, so it kind of just doesn't, like, I'm still drinking my normal coffee up until about 12:30, and so I get my caffeine very, very slowly all morning. A simple wind down routine. Now, this This is going to sound silly, but if you're a mom and you've had your kids since they were little, you know how you would have your bedtime routine. You'd have your relaxing lavender bath time soap. It was very gentle. And then you would give your baby like a rub down and read a story and stuff like that. That is honestly what we need to do for ourselves at this time of our lives. We need to have a wind down bedtime routine. Studies have shown that if you take a shower later on, right before bed, and you bring your body temperature up, or maybe you hit the sauna right before you go to bed, so you bring your body temperature up and then you bring it right back down, and you sleep with your room really cool, and you have like certain rituals so your body knows like, I'm preparing to go to bed now, I'm preparing to sleep now, and your body just kind of knows, oh, this is what we're doing right now. We kind of need to treat ourselves like that infant that we're sleep training. And maybe we just need to call it like midlife sleep training. We'll see. But I know that if I have my shower, if I put on my lotions and my oils, and I put on my diffuser and I read my book and I've got my mask, I am in a good place, and I am generally going to have a better night's sleep. Oh, and I have my supplements. My supplements need to be in there as well. So, what does this actually look like for me? It doesn't look like perfection. It doesn't look like I'm doing everything right. Quite frankly, at least once getting something wrong almost every single day. This, like I said, this is the hardest layer for me. I know it's affecting the rest of me, and I'm truly, truly trying my best to do better. I'm super bloated right now. I'm actually still swollen from when I had the psoriasis breakout, and it was really, really deflating trying to get all of that inflammation, everything out. Where was I going with that? That is ADHD at its finest. What was I doing? So, what am I doing? I am focusing on my routines as much as I can. I'm not going to get everything right, but I am going to get as much right as possible. And I'm doing it because this layer is so very important. It is essential. It affects every single other layer. If you do not have your sleep, you will not be able to strength train. You are going to be overly hungry. You're not going to have the energy to move, and it's going to throw off your hormones and up your cortisol. Ladies, this is probably the one that if you want to start with a layer, start with this one and get it right, and it will make all the other ones that much easier. Don't get me wrong, they all blend together because I sleep better on days that I work out and that I make sure that I'm moving. If I'm super sedentary, I don't sleep as well that day. But this layer matters. The layer of sleep is not an exciting layer, but it is definitely an essential layer. When your body is rested, everything else will be better. Thank you so much for watching Mandy Moves Fit in the Chaos. I am very happy to talk to you today. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.